Alright guys, welcome back to a new vlog, and today I'm going to give you guys a tactical breakdown on the recent race I did back on May the 7th down in the central part of New York, just south of Syracuse. And today we'll be reviewing the Hollenbeck Spring Classic Road Race in the men's category 3-4 race. This was my first time doing this race, and just wanted to give you guys a little breakdown of the tactics that I used during the race, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Okay, and we're just rolling off the line here. Now this was a 44-mile race. It was 2 laps of a particular course. Pretty hilly course. I think throughout the day of racing we had right around 4,000 feet of climbing, somewhere in there, maybe a tad under, but it was a pretty hilly course, one that suited me pretty well. And you see here the start. Now this is not a neutral start. A lot of times these road races will have a neutral start. This one is not. We are you know, racing here. We're in the very opening mile. Now the temperatures today, it was a very cold, very rainy day, as you can see on the GoPro footage, but the temperature today, the high was 36 degrees and raining, and there was actually points in the race where I could feel some freezing rain hitting my helmet. So a very cold, very wet day in the bike. Had to really battle, you know, just being, you know, had to really battle cold hands and cold feet pretty much from the second lap on. But as you see guys here at the start, it's a very just a very low-key start. Now I like to use these opening you know, couple of miles just to kind of get myself warmed up, get my legs warmed up, you know, get into the race. Now the pace here is not very hard by any means. Again, it's the opening few miles. I think everybody was, you know, just wanting to kind of start off a little bit easy, kind of, you know, like I said, get yourself warmed up. There's really no need in a race like this. There's really no need to come out of the gate full steam ahead, unless you're a super strong rider and feel like you can pretty much drop everybody in the field. But that was not the case today. Now you see here number 805 on the left. He ended up winning the race, as you guys, you know, probably saw in that last video I did there when I just did a basic vlog from the weekend's activities. But I just fast forwarded a little bit here in the race. Now I did this because we're getting into you see the pavement here is very smooth, very fast-paced portion of the course. Now you saw that guy on the right there. He just looked over. He was letting a little bit more of a gap than I wanted to let open start to form, so I went around him and closed that up immediately, because in these amateur races you don't want to, you just never know when the move to go away or to split the field up is going to happen, and you don't want to get caught up behind somebody, you know, slower and miss those gaps. So if you see a gap starting to form that you don't like, close it down immediately. Now we're getting ready to come into the first big hill of the race. We did this hill twice. This was the first time into it, and this was a pretty good hill. I don't know exactly how long it was, but it was a good, you know, probably a good, you know, 7 to 10 minute climb. Now again, I'm probably sitting, you know, I'm, you know, about a dozen wheels back in the field here at this point, but I'm just kind of slowly going to start picking my way up here towards the front, because, you know, again, I just don't know when, you know, a rider or 2 or 3 or 4 is going to try jumping off the front and, you know, hook up together and split the field apart. So whenever I come to, you know, one of these hills like this, which I feel is good for me, I like to get myself up towards the front to make sure I don't miss out on any, you know, on any splits in the field that I think I can go with. Now I'm in the big ring right now. I'm actually out of the saddle. Now as you see here, I'm just trying to basically you know, ride the wheels of the guys in front of me as much as I can until I want to go past them. Then I just, you know, simply go on by and catch the next wheel. And you see here, I'm kind of slowly working my way up on the outside. I like to hang on the outside here, closest to the yellow line as much as I can. I know I've told you guys that before in a couple other breakdowns. But I like to give myself the out, and I just feel like I got a little bit more room to maneuver on the outer portion of the road by the yellow line as opposed to being trapped inside. Now again here, the pace is starting to pick up a little bit. Now again, I'm still out of the saddle, big ring, and I'm getting up there. There's my teammate Jim on the left, the Team Placid Planet Bibs. That's my teammate Jim, real strong rider. I was just looking for his wheel. I knew Jim was going to be able to hang in here on this hill, so I thought I'd be in a real good position, being in behind a teammate, a wheel I'm comfortable with. I know how Jim rides, very comfortable being on his wheel. Now, you see here, I think I'm, like 5th in line. Again, the pace is not, it's not full bore, it's not, really super on, but we're certainly putting in some pretty hard tempo right here. And I'm just trying to keep myself towards the front of the field. I have really, no major interest in, fully attacking. It's still very early in this race. I have no interest in, trying to solo bid for, 38, 40 miles alone. So for me here right now, it's just about sitting in, catching the wheels in front of me, making sure I'm not working, too excessively hard. And here I kind of go around the guys, get up towards the front. Just kind of wanted to, see what would happen if I put in a little dig. Now again here, I'm not by any means, really going full bore, but I felt good at this point in the race. I felt strong. I just felt like I could increase the pace there, so I did. Now you see me there. I do a lot of shifting when I'm on the hills. I shift a lot, try to always keep myself in that 90 to 105 cadence range if I can. And a lot of times you have to shift to do that. Now right here I'm off the front, but again I'm just kind of setting hard tempo. Now this guy in the blue you saw just come by me, I didn't know at the time, but this guy's actually a category, I think he's a category 3 rider, but he was going to do the category 1, 2, 3 field. He switched last minute, got into our field, and you see here he's putting in a pretty hard effort right here, just riding his wheel, just trying to stay as close as I can to his wheel. He obviously looked very strong. I got a very good initial impression that this guy was going to be a strong guy in this race. So I thought, okay, here's a good opportunity to follow a strong wheel, and that's what I'm doing here. Again, no interest at this point. Got really no interest in going by him. Just want to see if I can stick with him to the top of the climb. We're getting towards the top here. You see, he's got a really good. He has a really good pedaling technique. He's obviously out of the saddle here, putting in some good wattage. And again, I'm just riding the wheels, keeping my shifting often, keeping myself in my ideal cadence, and just trying to hold that wheel in front of me. That's really what these races are all about. For me, anyways, is just about sticking on the faster wheels in front of me until strategic moments in the race. And we're now getting up towards the top of the hill here. I was doing a couple of peeks behind me to see if we were splitting the field up a little bit. Looked like we started to get a little bit of separation in the field about mid-pack. You see here number 811 comes by me on the left. He was another guy that I kind of recognized as going to be strong right off the get-go. And right now we actually are making a split in the field, and the guys up front there in the blue kit and 811, they're going to start putting in a pretty serious effort here to try to keep this to try to make this split stick that we've made. At this point we've actually caused a separation in the field, and we don't want to just let those guys back on easily. So at this point the tempo is pretty high. Again, my only concern right here is to just stick with these guys, because you never know if they're going to try teaming up and going away for the rest of the race or something like that. So I just want to stick on their wheels. And as you see the rain there hitting us still, it's very wet. Now I'm obviously very concerned about tire traction, stuff like that. Just trying to keep myself in a good position. 811 looks back. You see his cadence, really fast cadence. Now these guys are putting in a very serious effort here. And now you're going to see here we start doing a pace line. You saw the blue kit there pull off. We got a pace line going, 8-11, goes to the front. And you see him cut off to the left. That's his signal to me to, hey, time for you to go around. I go around, gonna do my bid here off the front to keep the pace high so that we can keep this separation in the field that we've been able to get to this point. Again, we don't want to let those guys behind us back on easy. You see the blue kit back around me, keeping the pace high. There's number 805 in there. There's my teammate Jim right in there, number 811. So now we've got like a 5-man pace line going. Again, we're just keeping the pace high. And you see how these pace lines will work. Basically, you've got a guy, you just simply flow in line, do your pull, and then when it's time for you to get off, you just simply go to the left, and that's the cue to the guy behind you to take up the pace. And then you see number 811 here does his quick pull, gets off the front. Now it's my turn again. I do a quick pull, keep the pace high, and you see me there scoot over towards the yellow line a little closer. That's my cue to the guy behind me. All right, your turn again. And there he goes. Another guy comes up, fills the void, keeps the pace high. You see how that pace line just kind of keeps flowing. And you're going to see this a lot more as you go into higher categories of racing. Now again, this is a 3-4 race, so we got some pretty strong guys in here, and some guys have done a lot of racing, and these pace line tactics are very important, especially if you're trying to cause a split in a field, or if you're trying to catch back on to a group in front of you. We're trying to keep the pace high by working together right now as a group. We got a group of us here working together, trying to keep the pace high and kind of distance ourselves from the rest of that field that we have broken away from, and we have been able to do that. Again, you can't see it in the GoPro footage, but I'm taking the occasional peek behind me. Typically when I'm off the front is when I'll take the peek behind me, because I know if I'm at the front of the race, I'm not going to run into anybody. And there you see blue shorts, the blue kit. There was actually his attack. He goes away at this point. I thought for a moment to go with him, but I decided not to. It just still really early in the race. But the blue kit guy there, he just went away. Now he is actually going to be away in a breakaway for pretty much the rest of the first lap before we caught him again. So he was a very strong rider, because our pace right now is pretty strong. We got a really good pace going, and he was able to pretty much just kind of take off there by himself. So I knew this guy was going to be strong. I could see that very early on in the race. That was a pretty strong move he made. But again, at this point in the race, I just didn't think it was going to be in my best interest to follow that. I thought that the guys we had here in this pack would eventually be able to get him back, so I wasn't too overly concerned. As you see, we're still kind of keeping our pace line going. There's my teammate Jim up ahead of me, doing a great job in this race. Jim rode really strong all day. Again, we're keeping that pace line flowing, keeping the pace up. We're trying to make sure that those guys that we had distanced in the rest of the field don't catch back up to us. And at this point, honestly, we're trying to make sure that guy in the blue kit doesn't get too far ahead of us. We don't want him to get 5-6 minutes up the road, because we probably never see him again. Now there was a little bit of conversation flowing here in the group. You can't tell through the GoPro footage, but there was a little bit of discussion going on here with the pack. Just I think I heard a couple guys say, don't worry too much about the guy up front. I think we can get him back. Just kind of keep doing what we're doing. I was content to do that, but you see everybody just kind of doing their short pulls at the front and then getting off and letting the next guy flow through. That's so important at this level of racing, because you don't want to just get out there and kill yourself at the front of the field for minutes on end. That's going to put you in a difficult position to try to hold the pack once you do flow off. So you want to make sure you're keeping plenty of energy in reserve, but you want to do your turn up front, because you don't want the guys you're with in the breakaway or the pack you're with to get the feeling that you're just going to be along for the ride. You're more apt to get attacked that way and try to get dumped out of the group. So it's always best to, if you can, do your pull. If you cannot do a pull and you're just holding on for dear life, then hey, do what you gotta do tell the guys that in the group, say, hey guys, I'm just trying to hang on here. You know, I'll do what I can, but I'm just trying to hang on to the wheels here. Now these right here, I forwarded up to a different to a little bit quicker portion, to a further portion of the race here. We're getting up to a hill that I later found out that they called the wall. It's hard to tell in the GoPro footage, but this is a very, very steep little hill here. It's not overly long. You know, it might be a quarter mile long, if that, but it's very steep. And as you see here, as you can tell by guys up out of the saddle, really grinding away here, that the pace is on here. Again, I don't want to miss any kind of a split in the field, or any kind of a attack from 2-3 guys that might try doing a bridge to our leader up there, the blue kit guy. So I'm doing my best to make sure that I stay in that first couple 2-3 wheels here. Again, the pace is very high. I don't know exactly what we were doing for power. I don't really look at my power meter much in the race, other than kind of checking up on my normalized power, just to kind of see how hard I've worked to that point in the race. But the pace is on. Jim, again, really strong right here by Jim, getting over the top of this hill. Now you see that guy there in the up ahead of us there. He was actually trying to, at this point, he's trying to make a bridge up to that blue kit guy, and you saw number 814 there. He's looking at Jim. I could hear what he was talking about. He was actually telling Jim that, hey, that's a strong guy there, so we cannot let him get away, because if he meets up with blue kit guy, we might not see those guys again. So at this point, the three of us, we know we gotta get him under control, get him back to us, because we didn't want to let him squeak off the front and potentially meet up with the blue kit guy and have a two-man break, a strong two-man breakaway that could really be a hassle to bring back. So right now we're just basically we're gonna try to get a little pace line going. We ended up getting him back within a couple of miles. I fast forwarded here again in the race. Pretty much the remainder of that first lap was pretty mellow. We were able to get that other guy back, and then towards the very tail end of the first lap, we did catch the blue kit guy, so he is now back in the fray. Okay, so like I mentioned, guys, now we are early in lap number 2. We are now all together as the main field again. Well, at least the portion of our race that broke away. We had a lead pack of probably 15 guys, but we did catch the guy in the blue kit towards the end of lap 1. We're now back into the early lap 2. We're about 24-25 miles into the race. We're hitting that first hill here again for the second time. Now you see that guy in the black and red kit, number 811. That guy, that strong rider, he's up there at the front. I was using the draft of that guy there on the right of me for as much as I could, and then I decided to go up here and get onto the wheel of number 811 to keep him in check. Now you see he's out of the saddle, putting in some good wattage. He's doing a couple of looks behind, seeing what's going on. Again, at this point, I'm just looking to hold his wheel in front of me. I'm just trying to basically stay in his draft. You see here, I do a lot of shifting on the climbs. Again, I'm basically just shifting my bike as much as I need to keep my cadence where I want it, but to still be able to hold his wheel. So even though I could, if I wanted to, probably go around this guy if I wanted to right now, I'm choosing not to. I just want to ride his wheel. Again, there's still a lot of racing left. There's no sense in me, going up there and setting pace right now. I just want to hold this guy's wheel. Now you see Jim here coming up on the right, my teammate Jim coming up. Jim rode really strong today. Was doing a great job out there. Jim was putting in a good effort. Again, my only interest here is just staying in contact with the lead guys of this race, and then just basically putting all of my eggs into the final basket there in the final climb. I knew there was a final climb coming up at some point at the end of the race. So for me at this point, again, just sit in, try to conserve as much energy as I can. That's such an important element of road racing. Really can't stress enough how important it is that you conserve as much energy as you can during the race. If you're out there just lighting up and burning every match you've got in your quiver early on. It's only going to hurt you at the end of the race. So now we're getting towards the top of this climb. Now again, I'm feeling good at this point because I've been sitting this guy's wheel the whole climb. And as you'll see here in a moment, I'm going to put in a little dig here because I wanted to keep the pace high. I wanted to keep the pace high so we wouldn't have anybody rejoin us. Now right here I shift down into a couple harder gears, and I'm going to go by this guy here. Tried to see if I could, cause any reaction in the field, see if we could get, maybe 3-4 of us away and try to pace line a little breakaway going. So I'm putting in a little effort. That was very short-lived. That guy was not going to let me go anywhere. That was very clear. So I just basically rolled back off, let him by me. And as you'll see here, we're going to have a couple other guys get up here and start getting back into the mix. Now that we're over the top of the hill, again we're in a lead pack of like 12 to 15 guys. Everybody seemed to be quite strong here at the front of the race, and as you see here, we're getting ready to come into a little bit of a descent. Now this guy looks over. He was actually looking back to see who was with us, to see if we had enough guys to try doing something. There's number 805 again jumping into the mix. And again, he's now the pace is getting back on here again. We're going to try to see if we can, maybe roll some guys off the front and try to establish a little bit of a breakaway. Again, I'm just trying to hold these guys' wheel in front of me as best I can. Now you can probably tell there by how fast the lines are going by. Pace is pretty much, pace is really on right now. Again, we're starting to do a little pace line here. 805 rolls off. 811 rolls through. He rolls off to the left. My turn to come through. Gonna do my effort. Again, I do a very brief effort up front. Get over to the left. Now we got number 805 coming back around doing another pull. There's number 811. So we had like a 3-man pace line going here at this point, and I actually thought maybe the 3 of us were getting away, because I hadn't really looked back at this point. So at this point, I'm still trying to keep the pace on, thinking maybe we got a 3-man breakaway going here. At this point, I actually look over again. I'm at the front, so I can look over my shoulder now, see what's going on. I took a brief look back and could see that we in fact were not getting away. We still had the group. Here comes my teammate Jim through. He's back up there at the front, and so there really wasn't any our little quick move there, a little quick attack, just wasn't really going to do anything. The guys were just pretty much riding our wheels behind us there. There you see the guy in the blue kit, the guy that made the initial breakaway there early on. He's back up here at the front, and I just did another fast forward here, pretty much towards the end of the race, because honestly, that second lap, from that point there where I just left off until now, the pace was pretty much just kind of tempo. No real major attacks, and in fact, a couple of portions the pace was actually quite low. But again, for me, it's all about just hanging on with the lead group until the end. So I wasn't going to make any moves. So I fast forwarded here towards the last couple of miles here of the race. Going to break this down for you guys. Now we're we've got our lead group here of like a dozen guys, give or take, and again, the pace is pretty high right now. Again, I'm back on the outside portion of the road towards the yellow line. I like doing that whenever I can. Again, I just feel that tactically it gives me the best position to react to potential moves, and I just ultimately feel a little bit safer from any kind of crashes in the peloton or anything if I'm on the outside. I just think being on the outside kind of gives you more of an out in case there's trouble. So I will oftentimes stay out by the left-hand portion of the road if I can. And again, at this point here, I'm not familiar with the finish. All I knew was that there was a finishing climb that was like maybe 300-400 meters long. Jim told me it was a pretty steep finish, but I'd never seen it before, never raced this race before, so really didn't know what to expect. And at this point, I'm just trying to keep myself towards the front of the group if I can, to keep myself in a good tactical position. Just try to stay in the wheels of the guys in front of me. making sure that I don't, get caught out on something here, and basically just trying to sit in here and conserve as much energy as I can for the end of the race. Because again, I know it's going to finish in a very steep climb, and I'm just trying to do everything I can to make sure I've got enough energy in the tank and a couple of matches to burn at the end. So again, here we got a lot of guys here. You can see towards the front, really kind of mixing it up there a little bit. The pace is pretty fast. Now we're coming into the final turn here. Now I know we're getting towards the end of the race. I could actually see up ahead of me that we were getting towards that climb. So right here, I'm trying to do my best, and I, at the time was thinking, okay, I have to go because number 811 was way off the front there, and I thought, okay, I've got to get up there with him if I'm going to have a chance to win this race. So I come by the group, put in a big effort. I'm putting in a really big effort at this point, really kind of redlining myself, honestly. But that right there is number 811 up the road, that guy in the black and red kit. I thought he's way off the front. He might be able to hold that to the end. So looking back, I realized that this is really, a drafting kind of climb in those initial stages. There goes the guy in the blue kit. Very strong rider. He makes a good dig. Again, this right now is a flat-out effort. The GoPro footage doesn't really show you how steep this hill is. You can see the tent way up there ahead of me. That's the finishing tent. And again, right now I'm sitting third wheel. I'm, all my chips are in the center of the table. I'm pretty much going as hard as I can. Trying to close down. Okay, now here I am. I'm trying to close down on the guy in the blue kit. Giving a really serious effort. I'm just giving it everything I've got. Trying to hold on. I'm trying to get up to the front there. Now you're gonna see number 805. He was actually sitting in most of that early portion of the climb, and he does a great job here. You're gonna see him come by. There he goes. Number 805 was sitting in most of that hill there in the early stages. He had a lot in the tank. Really strong rider. He goes up to the front now. I passed number 811. He started to die towards the upper portion of this climb. I got by him. Now I'm sitting third wheel. At this point, I pretty much realized there was no way I was going to be able to, close down those guys for the win. I had just burnt way too many matches early on in this hill. And at this point, I'm just trying to hang on and do my best for third. And I'm, just basically trying to maintain my cadence as high as I can and just trying to keep the power on the pedals. And then, like I said, the GoPro footage really doesn't show you how steep this hill is. This is a very nasty little finishing climb. We're closing in on the final few meters here of the race. Again, I'm just trying to hang on for third, and you're going to see a guy here come up on my left-hand side and nip me just at the finish line right about now. There he goes, and he got me for third place. So I finished fourth on the day. At this point, I'm so spent. All I could do was just kind of lean over the bike. I mean, I was just totally wrecked at this point. That was a very, very tough finish. 805 gave me a quick little nod there. I gave him one back. Really good ride by him. He won the race. You see here, I mean, I look, as you can tell by the look on my face, I'm pretty much, completely spent. And so there you have it, guys. I finished fourth on the day. A very tough race. Tactically, I had a good race. I was able to hang in there all day up front, and I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. I enjoyed doing the video for you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next vlog.